Chapter 1, Diatonic Chords within the major key. So for each key, there is a set of triads that can be built above each scale degree. In other words, each pitch within the scale. To construct these triads, you first build a major scale and then build the triads, of course in third intervals, above each scale degree using notes that fit in the key signature. A system like this that's based only on the notes of a particular major or minor scale is called diatonic. Here's a chart of the diatonic triads that fit in the key of C. And take a look. The scale degrees are written underneath using those conventional ways of notating them. Scale degree 1, scale degree 2, scale degree 3, etc. with the little carets above those numbers. The scale degrees and corresponding chords can also be named using another traditional terminology: tonic, supertonic, mediant, subdominant, dominant, submediant, leading tone. Now the term tonic refers to the first note of the diatonic scale and the chord that goes with it. Music tends to begin with and ultimately return to the tonic chord. Supertonic is, pretty simply, the note and the chord that goes with it that's a step above the tonic. Dominant implies a fifth relationship. And as you can see in this diagram, it is located a fifth above tonic. The mediant is in an intermediary position between tonic and dominant. And the other terms are a little easier to explain if we show another chart that includes the tonic chord as also on the top of the chart. So this chart shows that the subdominant is a fifth lower than the tonic chord that's found at the top of the scale. And it's named subdominant because of this relationship, not because it's a step lower than dominant. And so the submediant is also named this way because it's directly between the subdominant and the tonic, as shown in that example. The leading tone is the last note of the ascending scale before returning to tonic, and it sounds as though it is leading back to tonic. If you play these chords on a piano, you'll hear the sound of the leading tone chord resolving back up to the tonic chord. Now, these chords within the key can be analyzed as either major, minor, or diminished triads. Here's another chart of the triads, this time using Roman numeral labels as well as popular chord symbol labels to designate these chord qualities. Now, these Roman numeral labels are pretty similar to the scale degree labels, but they offer the advantage of using uppercase Roman numerals to designate the major triads and lowercase Roman numerals to designate the minor triads. That small little circle right next to the 7 chord indicates that its quality is diminished. And we indicate the diminished quality with both that small circle and the lowercase Roman numeral 7. It's important to keep in mind that these chord qualities are going to be consistent no matter what key you write this chart in. So, for example, the first chord C is C major. Now, really quickly, if you count the half steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1, 2, 3, that will always be a major triad. So the first chord is always major when you're in a minor key. The second chord, notice the half steps, 1, 2, 3, that's a minor third. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a major third, that's minor. Okay, so that's a really quick way to tell whether a chord is major or minor, is to count the half steps. The third chord, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can think of it 3 plus 4. These are counting the half steps. A minor third and then a major third interval. That makes a minor triad. The fourth chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 4 plus 3 makes a major triad. The next chord, the G chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, makes a major triad. And the next one, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, makes a minor triad. And the last one, a little different. 3 half steps, 3 half steps. That's diminished. These chord qualities are going to be the same, whether you're in the key of C major or the key of B flat major or whatever major key you're in. At this point, let's take a look at page 5. This is part of your homework actually, but it illustrates something that you need to be able to make sense of. This first example has been done for you. It's the key of C. It gives you each of the triads with the proper Roman numerals and the proper pop symbols. And we've already figured out that the first chord is always major, second is minor, third is minor, fourth is major, fifth is major, sixth is minor, seventh is diminished, and of course back to the tonic is major. You need to memorize that. It's not hard to do. The 1, the 4, and the 5 are the major ones, and the 2, the 3, and the 6 are minor, and remember that 7 is diminished. You want to memorize that because it's the same in every key. You don't have to memorize this differently in every key. So if we do this in the key of F with 1 flat, we go through and we write an F scale like this, and then we write the chords. What I've done is every time there was a B flat, I colored it in to keep track of it. And then I labeled the chords, but notice that the labels are exactly the same. You don't have to necessarily figure that out differently for each key. It will be the same. Let me show you what I mean. So this is number 3, and it asks you to write it in the key of B flat, because that's the first note. So I'm going to start by writing a B flat key signature, which is 2 flats, B flat and E flat. And then I'm going to write the notes of the scale, which is what you should do along with me. This is a C, and then a D, and then an E flat, and then an F, and then a G, and then an A, and then a B flat. And then just to keep track of the key signature, every time I see a B flat or an E flat, I'm going to color it in. So I'm going to color in the E flat, and I'm going to color in the B flat. And then I can go ahead and build the triads. That's just in thirds. So space, 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 line, 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 space, 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 line, 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 etc. All the way up. Space them out nice and evenly so that they line up with all of these all the way up. Now I can go ahead and figure out all of these chords, just figure out what their qualities are. But because I've already figured that out and these are the keys, I can just say, okay, the first chord is major. The second chord is minor, small Roman numeral. The third chord is minor. The next one is major. The 4 and the 5 are major. The 6 is minor. And the 7, remember that's diminished. So I put the circle and back to here. And then to do the pop symbols, I just name them by the lowest note. So that's a B flat. So that's B flat major, that's C minor, that's D minor, that's E flat major, F major. Remember with the major ones, I don't bother saying major. It's just assumed that they're major. And then that's with pop symbols. And then this is G minor, this is A diminished, and that's B flat major again. So that's how you go about finishing the homework. You'll be doing that on each key. At this time we can go ahead and try Check Your Understanding 1.1. Okay, at this time I'm going to go ahead and do Check Your Understanding 1.1. What actually you should do is do this yourself first. Try these 4 examples. See if you can figure out what those chords are. And then come back to this video and watch me do it. So here I go. Here's the key of C. It says scale degree 4. Now, actually, we already have the key of C up here. And so if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, there's the answer. It's going to be just whatever the chord is there on scale degree 4. So we can just write that, F, A, C, right here. F, A, C. The 4th chord is major, as shown in this diagram. So I can write major. In a major key, the 4 is always major. And because it has the pop symbol of F, which is just the name of the lowest pitch. So the second one, perhaps a little trickier because it's the key of G. So I'm going to take a piece of scrap paper and write the key of G. Now this is in the bass clef, so I'm going to do this in the bass clef. And the key of G has 1 sharp, and it is asking me to write the 7. So I'm going to start on a G pitch and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. And go ahead and write the triad all in thirds above that pitch. Check against the key signature to see what needs sharps or flats, and you can see that that bottom note has a sharp. When I label it, I call it the 7 chord, lowercase with a circle, and the pop symbol would be just the name of the lowest note, F sharp, and also put the little circle to indicate diminished. So now I can go ahead and transfer that right here. Start with F sharp, A, C, label it 7 diminished, and also with a popular chord symbol, F sharp diminished. The next one is the key of E flat. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing, this time with a G clef, and I'm going to write the key signature of E flat, which is 3 flats, B flat, E flat, A flat. It asks for 5, so I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice I started on E flat. I went up to the 5th note, which is B flat. Build that chord all in thirds, and I've got it. Scale degree 5, which would be Roman numeral 5. I use an uppercase to indicate it's major because the 5 is always major in a major key. And I indicate the popular chord symbol by taking that lowest note, B flat. Also, don't forget to check these notes against the key signature. Notice that that is a B flat, but that's a D natural. There's no flat there, and that's an F natural. So that when I transfer it over here, I can go ahead and put the correct flats in there and just take these labels and put them here. 5 and B flat. So the last one I'm going to do is the key of B, scale degree number 2. So I will write a bass clef, and I'll write the key signature for B, which is 5 sharps. Father Charles goes down, and then I go to the 2nd note because it asks for 2. So B is 1 and C sharp is 2. And I go ahead and I write those pitches in thirds. Check against the key signature. I notice that the C is sharped. The E is not sharped, but the G is sharped. So this is scale degree 2, so I put 2 as the Roman numeral. I know that 2 is always a minor triad. That's just the way it always is in a major key. And I name this by its lowest pitch, C sharp. And because I know it's minor, I'll write a little M after it like that. So watch me just transfer it over here. C sharp, E, G sharp. This is a 2 chord, and it's C sharp minor. And there you go.